people to join us. As folks arrive, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat pod. Let us know who you are and where you're joining from. And we have Caroline and Tia and Gord with us now, and we've had a number of others register, so we'll give a few minutes to let people join us. Welcome, Kenji, and welcome, Gord. We're just, as people are arriving, giving a few minutes for people to find themselves in this place and settle in, and waiting a few moments to get started before we have more who are planning on joining us here. So please feel free to welcome or to introduce yourselves. You see Kenji's typing. Let us know who you are and where you're from. Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm noticing people are continuing to join us, and we'll give space for more to join us as we enter into this time together. Welcome, Andrea, and welcome, Heidi, and others who are just joining. It is great to be together today, and thank you for taking the time to participate in this EDGE webinar on living the dream. Betsy about a story you all know, Michael, Betsy, but we cannot say that we will really should see on the bottom corner of your screen, and this is a space where we can do all the questions or as many as possible during our time together today. And we'll jump into it now, and conscious that others will be joining us. So we'll start this conversation, and I want to just give you a bit of background on our time together today. So many of you might know that in the summer of 2013, a group from the United Church went on Greenbelt Pilgrimage to Greenbelt, the Greenbelt Festival in England. There were just over 100 people from the United Church joining together with a festival of about 20,000. And coming back after Greenbelt, there were a number of United Church spin-off events that happened that were inspired by our time at Greenbelt. And so during our EDGE webinars this year, we're creating space to hear the stories of some of those spin-off events. And today our time with Michael and Betsy is the first of that series. And Living the Dream was an event that came out of a group of us who went to Greenbelt from Southern Ontario, who got together when we came back and dreamed into existence this fabulous event. And Betsy and Michael can tell you more about that during our time today. So welcome, you two. I'm wondering if, Michael, you could tell us a bit more about who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I'm Michael, and I'm the minister to the Go Project, which is a opportunity for children, youth, and young adults and adults to experience mission and outreach and to integrate that into their life. It's a ministry of Islington United Church here in Toronto, which is where I am calling you from today. And it's a pleasure to be here and to meet all of you.
My name's Betsy Exley, and I am a conference staff person for London Conference. My work is with faith formation, youth, and young adults, and I get to work with our 9 camps throughout London Conference, our UCWs, our Faithful Footsteps initiatives throughout conference, and all of that exciting work with our children, our youth, and different regional programs for London Conference. So I'm excited to be here to talk to you about something exciting that
have happened for many years now. You mentioned Gord. I think that's a great introduction for this type of gathering.
Who were our contexts, yet how can we also be mutually supportive to one another. Um, so after Greenbelt, I was at a table with the moderator, Gary Patterson. And we were chatting about, the experience of Greenbelt and, what was I bringing home from this experience, and what would that look like, and a few other folks who had attended in Greenbelt were also at that mealtime conversation. And we were talking about, wouldn't it be amazing if we could pull together some sort of event? What would it take to do that? Um, and so the moderator was like, let's make it happen. Let's pull together, some young people from Toronto, Hamilton, and London conference for a meal time conversation and do some dreaming and brainstorming about, a spin-off from Greenbelt that would definitely support the work. And this led to, a dynamic group of folks, including Lauren and Betsy and Kenji, who's on the call right now, and others who dreamt about an event for families and for ministry leadership that would be supportive, to their children. And also to singles in ministry leadership, that it takes a village to be the family as a whole village experience. And so this is how this idea of living the dream was born. And the name Living the Dream came from one member of the planning team whose father is a minister, and every day when he's asked, how are you doing, he's just getting probably close to retiring. He would say, I'm living the dream, baby. And so, that was kind of a mantra for us in planning this event, in dreaming about bringing this Greenbelt experience home with us, is that we have amazing jobs, and some days it's really hard, and some days it's draining, but it is living the dream. And if we can let that be that post-it note that's sort of in front of us as we move forward.
As Michael had mentioned, one of the really exciting exciting things that we came away from Greenbelt with was
from us.
Just how powerful it was to gather with colleagues our own age. And to be in a lot of the same similar life stages, and how important it was to spend some time over a pint or over some food, just talking about life and recognizing that we're not alone, and that as you all know, ministry can be very isolating at times and very lonely. Confusing, and it's nice to have some colleagues that are not just colleagues, but they're also friends that you can count on and call and talk things through and brainstorm with. And also just sharing your life with. And so we decided at that gathering to start this Live in the Dream initiative, and we gathered monthly at a pub in Paris, trying to find a central location to most of us. And the most part, we made it a priority because we knew that gathering as a community of brothers and sisters to get to know each other, to be vulnerable, to share what's going on in our lives. And to make that time sacred. So there were some months where there was just two of us that gathered, but we wanted to hold that date. And it was fun because in those times where there was just a few of us, you got to know people better, and also really talk about what would be meaningful. And we just continued to hash out what are our key elements that would make this an event that not only we just planned, but we want to fully engage and attend. And so knowing that we wanted it to be social and supportive and fun, we developed some elements as to what were key components for this retreat to have that would make it be different from something that we have already experienced in the past, but that would also bring a bunch of the elements that we experience and love in Greenbelt.
So here's some of the key elements, and I think one of the phrases that held us as we work towards this is that often as ministry leadership, we need a sanctuary that was from the sanctuary.
So
We need
as
a holy
questions
space
continue to
that
arise,
we
please feel
could
free
mark
to
as a
take
time
them. And Michael and
for
Betsy, do you want to lead us on to the next part?
nurtured, to be challenged, to explore our faith in our own calling. And so we found that at Five Oaks Center in Paris, Ontario, a place set aside where we could gather together with our families and wise elders and energetic counselors to support us. And so some of the core pieces of living the dream include that the leadership of the event, that it would be shared by the whole. So there'd be, you know, it wouldn't be one person doing all the work, but that we each take on smaller roles. So some people led worship, other people led crafts, other people you know, directed the camp counselors, those sort of things. We wanted to make sure that at this time we had a lot of time to be able to just be together. I think for me, one of the most important parts of the planning process, as Betsy mentioned, was that opportunity to just like laugh together, to come to the table and like share our sorrows, and to know that there was a warm embrace and a you know people that cared. Um, that we wanted to just laugh a lot and sing a lot and be to be so that we could be courageous together. That it takes those things to be able to be a courageous leader in our church. It was really important for us to bring our partners and our families with this event. We recognize that a lot of the time when we're in ministry leadership, as you all know, we're at the church until 9 o'clock at night at a council meeting, or we're called away from our dinner table to respond to a pastoral care emergency, and all those things. Can really take a toll on our families that we're called away from, and so it was important for us to be able to name up front that we wanted to bring our spouses, we wanted to bring our kids, if we were single, we wanted to be welcomed into a circle that included families. And to really create a time for the whole to be together. And I think we also, Gord, this probably responds part of your question around the age limit on it. And I think that was recognizing that all of us are in ministry together, and that's important, but also recognizing that there's probably some specific needs that young ministry leadership are encountering that can be mutually supportive to one another, and that often as a young ministry leader, the isolation can be even greater. The distance between peers and colleagues of the
our next key element was recognizing that
first of our living the dream.
We wanted it to be an event that, as Michael said, that we help plan and wanted to be there, but that we weren't responsible solely for all of the content. A lot of us running events of that program, wanting to have an opportunity to be of recognizing that have served them to come from our elders. And as mentors, we wanted to think about some people that we could invite to come to share some of their experiences, to share some of their strategies and coping mechanisms to help them sustain that energy and vitality and excitement that we all felt about our ministry. Many of us going to presbytery events and all sorts of things often hear a lot of the frustration and complaining and critique of our denomination and a lot of colleagues talk about, the church is dying and it's all falling apart and everything, and a lot of us as young ministry personnel are still really excited and encouraged and are looking forward to a life dedicated to ministry, and so wanted to hear from some elders that could have some wisdom
read a bit
and
more about the event.
And also because
Sharon will send out an
recognizing
email
that
to
the family life of ministry has changed in a sense of um, partners aren't expected to do the same things that ministry partners were expected to do in days past. And there are many ministry partners that don't go to church at all. And we wanted to invite a couple that could come and share some wisdom with us
some of you.
about
So thank you so much.
Maintaining a healthy, thriving relationship in ministry. And so we had invited Peter and Sue Short to come and be our spiritual mentors. We'll talk a bit more about that later, but again, with the age thing, wanting to keep the age of the participants down. It was hard because there's a lot of people that we love and want to spend time with, but we thought that inviting a couple elders to join the table and to share some wisdom. We could sort of bridge that gap a little bit. There were lots of wonderful people. To choose from, but we know that the shorts have been doing a lot of work with some young ministry personnel in the past, and